Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at my first lens from Olympus, one of the very few manufacturers of micro four thirds gear. This is the 12 to 45mm f4 Pro. Enjoy! When you buy an Olympus or nowadays OM system camera in a kit, chances are this is the lens that you will find in the box. It came out in 2020 and is a very popular lens for smaller camera bodies such as my OM5. Don't let the fact that this is a kit lens fool you. I found this piece of glass to be very impressive. 12 to 45mm on a MFT sensor is the equivalent of 24 to 90mm on a full frame sensor, which means the lens starts out from a decently wide field of view and zooms in all the way to a tight, albeit short telephoto. More common standard zoom lenses will stop at 70 or 80mm equivalent, meaning this tiny lens provides just a bit more flexibility in the telephoto range. The build quality is fantastic and definitely deserving of the lens's Pro badge. It is mostly made from aluminium and features a weather sealing gasket. Unlike on some larger Pro lenses, the 12 to 45mm only features a zoom and a focus ring. There's no additional buttons, a focus clutch or switches to be found. The lens has a 58mm filter thread and comes with a plastic lens hood. As mentioned before, the lens is very small and despite the high quality materials used, only weighs around 250 grams. It is compact, light and durable, practically the perfect travel lens. Unfortunately, compromises have to be made somewhere. In this case, it's the lens's maximum aperture of f4. Which in practice makes it difficult to shoot in low light situations. It will not give you strong background separation either. Even if you zoom in all the way to 45mm, the background is still somewhat noticeable. The upside is that the f4 aperture is constant, so it does not close further as you zoom in. It will always stay at f4 as long as you don't deliberately close it to get a certain look. And I'm also happy to report that the lens is very sharp at f4. So stopping down for the most part isn't a requirement. Contrast is fine also, and distortions are kept to a minimum, at least on Olympus bodies. When there's a decent amount of light available, this lens performs great, and the practical focal range will be sufficient for maybe 80% of all use cases. Portraits, landscapes, pets. The lens practically lives full time on my OM5 and I rarely find a reason to switch it out. When I'm shooting indoors, it is still fairly usable, but that has less to do with the lens and more to do with the camera. Let me explain. The lens does not feature image stabilization, but all new OM system cameras come with a very powerful IBIS that allows you to reduce the shutter speed significantly, so that I'm able to go all the way down to 1/10 of a second comfortably and still get sharp photos of explicitly non-moving subjects. But if you primarily shoot photos in poor light conditions, a slightly larger and bulkier alternative to the 12 to 45 is the 12 to 40mm f2.8 Pro. That one features a focus clutch, a multifunction button, and more importantly, a much brighter f2.8 constant aperture. One thing that I thoroughly enjoy about the 12 to 45mm is the very short minimum focus distance of 12 centimeters, allowing macro adjacent shots with minimal effort. I'm reluctant to call it a macro replacement because the maximum magnification is still not as big as that of a dedicated macro lens. But for everyday close-up photography of flowers or larger insects, this lens is frankly phenomenal. The autofocus is almost instant and very reliable on my OM5, both for photos and videos. Speaking of videos, if you like to do manual focus pulls, the lens has barely any focus breathing, and when you pair it with a camera body that features IBIS, I can even recommend this lens for video shooters. In summary, I would say that the Olympus 12 to 45mm f4 Pro is one of the best examples of what a kit lens should be: sharp, practical, well built and compact. Unless you are on the lookout for strong bokeh or really need an f2.8 aperture for low light shooting, this is probably one of the best standard zoom lenses on the Micro Four Thirds system. But if you're not fully convinced yet, I have reviewed a very similar lens to this one from Panasonic, the 12 to 35mm f2.8, so make sure to check this one out as well. But that's it on my part. If you have any questions or simply want to share your opinion, please leave a comment below. Thank you all very much for watching and of course, have a wonderful day.